Dice Company contains fantasy violence, mature themes, and unapologetic bickering. No feelings were hurt in the making of it, but listener discretion is advised. Dice Company will always be free, but it's not free to make. Please consider supporting us on Patreon or Apple Podcasts and get access to our weekly roundtable show Extra Roll. Just follow any of the links in the show notes for this chapter.
Welcome one and all to Dice Company, where a group of old friends weave tales of triumph, heroism and despair under the guise of playing Dungeons & Dragons. My name is Tom, and I'll be your DM for the continuing adventures of this band of bandits and dog lovers. Bandits and dog lovers, please introduce yourselves and give one fun fact which will make the listeners care.
Hello, I'm Dave, and I am playing Bennie Quez. Bennie has got a large scar on his face, running from just one side of his eye, almost all the way down to his mouth. Still fairly pink, suggesting that it's quite a new scar, and he often kind of runs his finger over it when he's thinking. Seems to be pondering something, a reminiscence of some sort.
Yeah, hi there. My name is Charlie. I'm playing Vander Finnick. I've got more scars on my face than Bennie.
You always just riff off my fact. That's all. There's 2 weeks in a row now. It's almost like you're not prepared.
No, well, so fun fact about those scars, which I'm in no way making up now, is that I'm in so much general pain from my various injuries, which far outreach Bennie's injuries, that the only relief I've ever really found is by bathing in the salt marshes over at Ovik. But I've only ever been there once and often dream of going back. There you go. There's my fact.
You've only experienced relief once.
That's it.
How do you know what it is?
What the hell was that?
Well, that's it. I just cling on to this memory.
That could be deep sexual lust. Who knows what it could be?
Okay, well, I experienced a feeling once. There you go. And I can't quantify it because it was just the one.
Don't you be bragging about your one feeling.
Where are the salt marshes of Ovik? I see. Yeah,
I want to say Ovik.
Because this map is in no way based on Europe. And so Ovik is in no way Italy.
And definitely not the home of the Gnomish people.
Definitely not them.
What are you trying to say about Italians there, Dom?
As you know, I'm part Italian myself, so I only speak in glowing terms about the lovely Italians.
That's why you never sunburn, right?
Correct. Italian skin. Impervious to the sun rays.
I want to say, of all the facts mentioned today, the least true.
Good.
Hi, I'm Harry. I'm playing Tok, who's an imposing 6'8" automaton. Tok, despite being a construct, is keenly interested in the flora and fauna of the natural world. His favorite animals are dogs, and his 10th favorite are humans.
A lot of dog lovers here. And a point of order, can you be imposing if you literally can't damage anyone?
Yes.
You can? Okay,
you
good.
can intimidate without doing any damage.
All right, I accept that then. Yep, Tok is intimidating.
What is with all the dog love, if you'll excuse the phrasing?
A phrase you've said many times in your life, I assumed.
I don't understand.
Being a hater of all things.
I don't hate them.
The
I
animal
just don't get it.
The reason why I had to pause there is because I had to write out all 10. Okay, we're going dogs, cats, squirrels, owls, ferrets, badgers, horses, goats, monkeys, and then humans.
Monkeys ahead of humans.
Yeah.
But only just ahead.
Pretty outrageous.
They're pretty trustworthy compared. But...
Not speaking volumes about your teammates there.
He doesn't really see that much difference.
Hello, I'm Alex. I'm playing Augustus Zeno. I'm going to hit you with 2 fun facts today, neither of which are particularly fun. The first is that Augustus has no strong love for dogs because, like all posh people, he thinks dogs should only be working dogs, like foxhounds and similar ilk of worky dogs that posh people like. And my second fun fact is that Augustus has a recurring dream about walking through the mist-filled forests of Roanoke, which, as you'll all know, used to belong to his native Denothlia.
I was going to throw some shade about fair enough. Good second fact there.
Yeah, gear change, no clutch.
Can I just ask, DM, is that the kind of fact you're looking for in general, rather than the bilge we've been...
No, I'm happy for you guys to choose whatever fun facts you think are most appropriate for your characters.
Bilge is fine.
Yeah, bilge is expected, to be honest.
My backup fact was that Bennie Quez is named after Quez Watkins, the Philadelphia Eagles third string wide receiver, which is not a true fact.
I 100% believe it is a true fact.
Oh, that's all I'm going to think about now whenever I mention Bennie Quez's name.
Do.
Okay, without further delay, let's get stuck into this week's chapter of Dice Company. Last time, you lot narrowly escaped the clutches of the Bounders and a member of the Shadow Vanguard. With a fair amount of help from the deeply injured air elemental, you took off out of Lunadyne aboard the stolen airship, being manned by 4 automatons. The bustling cityscape of Lunadyne diminishes in the distance, replaced by the tranquil expanse of the open blue skies. The airship glides gracefully through the clouds, its sails billowing and the sound of the capacitor echoing gently across the deck. Standing at the helm is Vander, his cane placed neatly into a holding circle on the floor of the deck, his hands on a large wooden wheel. The 4 automatons you rescued hum with activity, tending to the mechanical intricacies that keep the ship afloat. Bennie, Augustus, and Tok, you find yourselves at the ship's railings, your eyes fixed on the receding city below as the airship gains distance. You look back at the colossal Ravager, his menacing silhouette a stark reminder of the perils you narrowly escaped. Turning to head south, the Ravager slowly turns to face your direction, but does not move towards you, instead remaining motionless, anchored in place above Lunadyne. From the distance you're at, you can see much smaller things in the air heading in your direction. But it seems for now the danger is behind you and a world of mystery and adventure await ahead. And you have a small but not insignificant respite. We are entering a long rest period, so for at least the next 2 days, you can travel aboard the ship safe from attack. How would you like to spend these 2 days?
I'm lost in the majesty of air flight right now.
Well, you look magnificent with the cane, plonked into the deck and kind of just wind in your hair, your fake hair.
Absolutely, my horsehair.
I am airsick and profoundly unhappy.
First time on an airship, Bennie.
It is, funnily enough, Vander. It's the very first time on an airship. I'd like it to be the last, but it's not looking particularly likely, is it? Because it doesn't seem like it's going to be safe to put down anywhere.
Well, you look like you're handling things admirably.
Thank you very much.
A pleasure.
Do have a bit of a bone to pick with you, though.
How surprising. If you could hurl over the side, then speak, that would be appreciated.
Okay, give me 1 minute. Excuse me.
And that was the last any of you saw of Bennie.
Right. Now that's sorted.
1 second, Bennie, my friend. Otis, Vander turns, pointing at one of the automatons. An exotic cheroot, please.
Understood.
Thank you, Otis. And then back to the wheel.
And it walks off.
What a wonderful little moment of... I don't know. I don't know whether I like more Otis or the exotic cheroot. No idea what those words mean.
What are these automatons, Vander? Do these think for themselves as well, or are these your standard automaton?
They're not quite as sophisticated as our friend Tok here, no. But they are key to the running of the ship, and I've come to regard them as having personalities of their own.
And do they just do what you tell them, or do they do what any of us tell them?
Why don't you try giving one an order?
Well, maybe I will. Excuse me, Otis. I'd love one of them fancy cheroots as well, please.
Understood. You wait for a few minutes and he returns, holding what appear to be 2 nicely rolled cigarettes, and hands one to Bennie and one to Vander.
Well, that's something at least. Thank you, Otis. Much obliged.
Vander lights his cigarettes.
I'll give it a try. So I light up my own and enjoy a cheroot.
Back to our discussion then, Bennie.
Well, Vander, I remember 2 or 3 days ago standing in your warehouse and you telling me that in return for helping you out, getting your air elemental and getting old Tok's ruby, I would get, in return, money and freedom. And to your credit, I am up by about 5 silver, so I'll give you that. But it looks to me like freedom has gone right out the window, doesn't it? For the foreseeable future.
I would say you were up 5 silver and 1 exotic cheroot.
Okay, I'll put that in your credit list, shall I? However, in the debits is a complete lack of freedom, probably on a permanent basis. This is interesting. Should have kept some of them mushrooms. That would have been an interesting pair. But you've not really addressed my points.
Benny, for the mushrooms to work, they must be passed through a reindeer, and you must drink their urine. This is the way of the shamans of the East.
I've got no idea whether that is a D&D thing.
I also want to know how many exotic cheroots
okay, honestly,
Tok has...
Or just talk, just bowling complete googlies at everyone.
And Augustus managed to hunt us a doe as well, didn't he? So, if only we'd known sooner.
Also, hello.
Thank you, Tok. A very valuable contribution to our conversation.
You are welcome.
Everyone, keep your eyes peeled for reindeer in the skies.
Vander, reindeers cannot fly.
Vander clicks his fingers. Of course, silly me. And takes another deep drag on his cheroot.
Augustus has a vague memory that there's a dude in a red coat who can go around with flying reindeers, and then he remembers that that's not part of this world and shuts up.
As for freedom, Benny, there is no greater freedom than flight in the skies. We can pick a direction and go. That, for me, is the very definition of freedom. As for money, you raise a good point. I think it's time we had a discussion about what our collective purpose here is.
Well, what's your purpose, Vander?
Money! I'm glad you asked, Benny.
Well, I'm not sure I believe that. I was interested when you were having that chat with the old Shadow Vanguard. She seemed pretty sure that Vander Finnick's not your real name.
I'm very curious. I guess we'll never know. She's still at the bottom of that river, isn't she? Strange what people do under pressure, isn't it?
It is strange. It is strange, Vander. So what I'm hearing here is not getting me money, never getting me freedom, and you're not even going to tell me the truth about anything. So why am I sticking around?
Vander turns then.
Lex, take in the main brace for us. See if you can get Nozzle to help.
Yes, Vander. And he boodles off the second automaton to meet the third automaton. And they begin pulling in the main brace. You see, you guys having an airship is going to be a problem for me because I know literally nothing about sailing. So when you guys use technical terms that are accurate, I'm just going to have to guess what they mean.
Pretty sure Charlie doesn't know them either.
I don't know, but if he can say them, it puts him at an advantage.
Does it though?
Gonna say I got a main brace.
Well, one of them is pulling a rope and the other is winching something. And the brace is being brought in or taken out or whatever it was you wanted. Stuff's happening. Stuff is happening.
Hoist the rudder, men.
My questions are actually for Augustus.
Hello.
What is it we can do for you? I understand mainly what Benny's after, but I confess, understand what you need.
Glad you asked, Vander, or whatever perhaps your true name may be. I would say that we perhaps might just allow one another to keep our secrets, as you clearly have them. I suspect Benny has them, and there are mysteries in Tok, too, I think. Not least the rarely mentioned head in a bag.
The mysteries are not contained within me. They are contained within my rucksack.
Interesting. Appropriately literal. So perhaps instead of delving into areas that each other don't want to discuss, we could consider what we genuinely do agree upon. And it seems to me that the one thing you've consistently shown, Vander, is that you dislike the Empire strongly. I think Benny shares that perspective, as does Tok.
Agreed.
As indeed does the air elemental who's permitting our flight. And without giving too much of my own long and dull backstory away, I share that sentiment. So perhaps we could consider how that might bind us together, even if Benny feels that payment and lack of freedom are currently problems for him.
I agree, Augustus. I care little for the story of your back, but I agree the Empire should fall.
Well put, Tok. Show of hands?
If that's what we call common ground.
Vander raises very Hawley raises his hand, which is obviously a mutilated thing.
Tok raises his hand quite high up.
I would like... Okay, I appreciate I'm not getting what I want, because what I wanted was to live a quiet life without people pursuing me. But what I've had instead is a massive upgrade on the people who are pursuing me. Fine, I accept that. And to your point, Augustus, I think you're right. I think we are united by a dislike of the Empire. Got to admit, I grew up in Middleton, and I was a kid on the streets of the Empire. They left us alone, and they would have left us to die. But I've never seen that kind of cruelty before, like we saw at the factory there. That's given me a new perspective on how I feel about the Empire. So yeah, I think we've got some common ground there in our dislike at Empire. But I would like just a little reason to trust the people that I'm travelling with. Just one fact. Everyone tell me one fact about yourselves that feels plausible. How about that? Just mostly true.
How about I was once quite a dashing young man until the Empire mutilated my flesh.
That feels like a start, doesn't it?
That is a start. Let me follow that. Firstly, Vander, with my sympathies and my horror at what the Empire has done to you, adding that Donotalia, my home, used to count Roanoke here on this continent as a province, and some time ago that ceased to be the case as the Empire took control of all these lands. And so I can say, without giving too much information away, and you will understand that I am at least being open, that I cannot tell you everything about myself, that I'm interested to discover more about what happened there and see if something might be recovered for my homeland.
Still fairly mysterious, but okay.
Well, thank you.
I mean, it's a start, isn't it? Personally, I'm not entirely sure why you're being so secretive, because I reckon we've all got, give us a month tops. But, you be you.
Well, perhaps I should have an exotic cheroot and I'll be spilling the beans all over the side of the airship.
While you guys are discussing, the fourth automaton who Vander has yet to address approaches. Vander, dinner is served.
Oh, why thank you, Sterling. Shipmates, shall we retire below?
Are you making up these names off the cuff? Because if so, they're amazing. Well, have we got Sterling and someone tell me the full list?
We've got Otis, Nozzle, Plex, and Sterling.
The automaton leads you all downstairs. So you head down the stairs to the mid-level, where you find 3 tables are set up with a small feast of food. Cooked potatoes, various forms of vegetables, and what appear to be nicely cooked chicken.
Bloody hell, Vander. You should have brought this stuff up when you were selling the benefits. I don't remember the last time I saw a meal like this.
You're quite welcome, Bennie. I take it that's the closest we'll get to praise, but please do pay attention to Sterling, the chef. He's worked quite hard over this meal. I think he's interested in making sure you like his efforts.
Thank you very much, Sterling. My compliments to you.
Eat it while it is hot.
I shall do just that.
Clearly very tickled by your compliment.
Cooking is his purpose?
Of a sort, Tok, in the same way that holding a mysterious bag appears to be yours.
That is not my purpose. I seek repairs. My creator was damaged by the Bounders 4 days ago. Until then, I never knew violence.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Tok, but aren't you in a position to make your repairs now?
I require time, peace. The repairs may be difficult.
Well, if you can just get Vander and Augustus here to stop banging on about their stories, you might get the peace you need to do your work.
I find that acceptable.
Well, at least that's one of us, eh?
Our bad chat is literally killing an automaton.
Tok doesn't need to eat, so whilst they're all eating, he's just going to explore the place.
I'll have your chicken, Tok.
I find that acceptable.
Eat it while it is hot. So on the floor you're on, to the north there is a room with various types of food. You have further south you will find 2 bedrooms.
I'm going to nip back to my cabin.
Can I work out which cabin is Vander's?
So Vander's is actually on the top deck.
Okay, Tok's basically going to set up shop in the cabin that he's currently standing in, and he will in fact start taking Tick out of the bag fully in here and start investigating and doing some repairs to his cranial plate.
Give me a Tinker's Tools check.
He will guide himself with this because he's taking a lot of time over it. So he's going to get a 30.
Is that a natural 20?
It is a natural 20. Natural 20, and rolling a 3 on... that's about as high a roll as he can do. Just one higher would be the maximum.
Yep, so you successfully begin the repairs you need.
This may occupy me for some time. I suggest we make 2 days south over the Elestrian Sea and cross over the mountains south of Chateau Grand. I have been in these areas before with Tick, my creator. We could then make our way down across the Rologot Sea to areas beyond the reach of this empire.
Desert country.
Desert country, the mountains north of Ovik, or the mountains east of Kolar Fife. The plains of Asmodeus would be too dangerous.
Is there any reason you'd like to see these places, or is this just because they're all out of Empire control?
The mountains of Ovik would be near the areas automatons are created.
Very true.
The mountains to the east of Kolar Fife are outside Empire control and offer hiding for an airship, concealment. The forests to the center of the Empire would be too close. Pursuit may find us. The area of the Kerbera coast contains pirates. These may be of limited concern to an airship. The area of the plains of Asmodeus contain bizarre creatures. The area is dangerous.
I see. Wow. Benny, any ideas?
Well, what's the plan then? Are we just running away?
Well, I would suggest we do need some time away from the Empire. If we go to Ovik, there are certainly opportunities for us there financially. I assume those are of interest to you.
Well, yes and no. Struggling to see at this point how money is going to serve me.
I can understand Benny's perspective here, that he was after a peaceful and prosperous life, and now to be wealthy would seem only to solve a relatively minor problem compared to the new, relatively major problem of being pursued by the Empire.
Well, gentlemen, and apologies for underlining a rather inconvenient truth, but we are now pirates aboard an airship. I don't suppose that figures into our collective thinking at all.
Incorrect. Pirates must commandeer a vehicle.
About that.
You owned this vehicle prior to us acquiring it, correct?
Oh, yes, of course, I did, yes. Not pirates in any way, then, I guess.
That's a reassuring tone of voice.
Thank you, Benny. How's the soup?
Fortunately, that was my second helping, so I decided to have solids first and have the liquids after. And to be honest, I'm kind of full. I'm going to go and finish my cheroots on deck.
So, says Augustus, catching Benny before he goes out the door and standing in the door himself, looking over Vander's head so he doesn't have to watch the slurping. It seems like, for the time being, our priority is to find a place beyond the at least immediate reach of the Empire. So Tok's plan, it seems, is as sensible as what we have. But I think, Tok, I'm right in saying this is the closest place you think is beyond the reach of the Empire?
The closest place beyond the reach of the Empire is the sea, but it is not habitable to humans.
A very important clarification.
Geographically, the closest place beyond the edge of the Empire is the coast to the south of the Rologold Sea. It is the edge of the desert.
And is it relatively safe and habitable? Should we land there in our airship? Will we be able to resupply and get the basic things we need to carry onwards?
So this is somewhere I'll have to ask for I'm assuming a nature check, but I'm not entirely sure. Okay, I will roll a nature check. And again, I will guide myself because, God, I will do that every single time.
God damn it.
Okay, so Tok rolls a 15.
So, Tok, your knowledge of the desert, it is habitable for humans, but it is hot and potentially uncomfortable. But they can certainly live there.
It is habitable for humans. Comfort being not really a priority or something he really understands. It is habitable within 50 miles of the coast. The hard desert is dry, but it would not provide the cover that mountains would for our airship.
I do sense that touching down in the desert is likely to cause some attention.
Well, maybe we'd be bolder then. Why don't we touch down in the mountains, somewhere relatively secluded, and then make our way on foot to civilization, take a bit of a risk?
The foothills of the mountains south of Chateau Grand would be near the city of Montano. I know little of the city interior, but I do know the countryside surrounding.
So why don't we navigate through the mountains and just scan the ground for a little settlement that we can dive into?
That is exactly the idea I was thinking.
Okay.
Basically go through, I'm assuming the foothills or something on the south of the mountains is going to be less, essentially anywhere that's flat where people are going to see us unless we're flying really high beyond where you can all breathe.
Can we do that? But can we have an Indiana Jones-esque, flying scene, where the plane goes? Yeah.
But then I was going to suggest after we gain supplies and whatnot in those mountains, flying across the roller goods seas up to Ovik. Or further across, and then further across here, and then out of the Empire proper. But that's a long, long way. So Ovik could be relatively central, so we could get to places from there.
Why don't we just aim for Ovik, do this to start with? I'm sure bad things will overtake us by the time we get there. So,
your cynicism is shocking. I'm sure it'll get a plan.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
Bennie, as you're just kind of skulking around the airship, you hear the tiny skittering of something small. You turn your head quickly and you see what appears to be a relatively old, mangy dog.
Hiya, pal. Hello. What's your name? I hold out my hand for it to lick it.
It runs straight up to you and just begins licking your hand.
Oh.
And you see its puppy dog eyes as it looks up at you.
Dog has cheered Bennie right up. Fish around in my pocket to try and find something to give it to eat.
It's clearly going to kill him.
As it's now up close and you get a good look of it, it is in fact an old dog. It's actually what appears to be a puppy, but with incredibly long, shaggy hair. And it hungrily eats some of your rations that you feed to it, and begins to curl up towards you.
Well, that's nice, isn't it? Just spend a bit of time hanging out with the dog. Better than these people.
Agreed. It is 10 places better than humans.
Tok, as you're working down in your new digs that you've claimed for yourself, you find what appears to be an ornately designed golden box, like a cube, about this big.
What, in the quarters or?
In your bag of tick.
Oh, okay.
You've never seen it before.
I suppose I did. Yeah, this all was a bit hurry. Okay, I will take it out and investigate it.
Cool. Give me an investigation check.
14. So just literally just a cube, or?
So it's a cube with lots of strange designs on it, and actually, as you begin to investigate it, you realise that there are gears in it and different mechanisms, and as you twist and turn elements of it, you can hear the kind of movement of something that has obviously been designed. And then you hear a couple of chimes of music. A robotic voice comes out of the cube.
With greater comprehension, you may find beauty in all things. Even in the strata of the rocks, you will feel flowers bloom.
Okay. Do I talk back to it? I'm assuming this sounds like a recording rather than it's a conscious being. Okay.
It does, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Tok's gonna focus on this and try and investigate a bit more.
Okay.
I think he might get a bit obsessed, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
I've obviously spoken to the automatons to set the relevant course, and
Yes, Vander.
And then I have retired to my quarters.
Augustus will find some quarters and then do some reading and also writing in his journal the things that have been going on in the last few days.
Or I go to bed, I will take up to Vander's quarters and ask him, hey, is this his dog? Is this your dog, Vander?
Have you just walked into my quarters?
I just knocked on the door.
Come in.
Hiya.
You are faced with a Vander who is only now wearing his dressing gown. Hideous injuries to his legs are now visible. Yes, Bennie?
I found this fella below deck. Just wondered what his name was.
I've never seen him before in my life.
Oh. Well, all right then. He's mine. I've got a dog now, Vander. Here he is.
How lovely. What's his name?
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to think of something. I'll let you know in the morning. Also, while I'm here, you got anything to read?
I turned to the bookshelves. And what were you thinking of?
What you got?
Mostly maps.
It's a little disappointing.
I could give you a pen and blank paper if you'd like to write some weepy poetry.
Oh, Vander, why don't you go fuck yourself? Good night.
Vander smiles.
Night, Benny.
Pleasure as always.
Vander considers whether he's going to take that advice.
If everyone's turning in, Tok's going to basically watch the stars over the night. But yeah.
First things first, Bennie and Augustus, there are 2 spare bunks. Who is having which one?
God, which one has a rabid wildebeest in it? I will take the one where I get to sleep side on to the ship. Oh, he's just gone in there.
He's taking your bunk again.
Bye, Augustus.
That's absolutely.
Augustus, you head in there and Benny's already on the bed with a dog, unbelievably, just stroking it and playing fetch with a small circular bit of wood.
He's a Bond villain already.
I look askance at the dog. I go into my own room and lock the door if I can, because I don't trust this animal at all, nor the dog.
And you guys get a good night's sleep. Bennie, what did you want to do? Did it complain about something, or?
No, it wasn't actually. It was,
To walk your dog.
while Vander's sunning himself on a poop deck and everyone else is elsewhere, can I have a little break into Vander's cabin and have a look around?
Oh, yes, please.
I feel like that's exactly what Benny would do in this situation.
Okie dokie.
You take your dog with you.
No, dog can stay away.
I'm really annoyed I didn't see this coming. I feel like I should have absolutely seen this coming. Okay, so let's do an opposed check. Vander's perception versus Benny's stealth.
Oh, no.
It's a big roll.
22.
I'm tempted to guide one of them, but I mean, just
And that's against my...
I'm not saying which one.
Perception, please, for you, Vander.
I rolled a 10 against his 22.
So all those cheroots you've been smoking, that's your problem.
Yep, so timing it perfectly, Benny, you are able to gain access to Vander's living quarters when he is not there.
I'd just like to kind of have a look around and see if there's anything that looks to be of particular interest.
Cool, give me an investigation check, please.
22.
Oh my god.
I have some book names if he wants to look at the shelves.
Please give him the book names.
So you see 3 titles. You see The 19 Secrets to Successful Piracy, A History of the World, Empire, 3rd edition, and Sea Beast Takes a Lover, a romantic classic.
Yeah, so you find those. You find a collection of old maps showing the area. I take it you're looking for something personal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can help there as well if you open a certain chest in there.
Yeah, you open a chest, and inside you find...
The mask that Vander wears. There's an array of them. Different masks, different patterns, different styles, different fabrics. Just all lined up.
He's a fancy man.
And as you look at them, Benny, you notice they're very high quality make. These were obviously not cheap.
Is that all I can uncover?
That is all you can uncover.
Disappointed, I slink back to my dog, who I have named Lenny.
Benny and Lenny.
Lovely. And we're back to mice and men, right? Is that where we went with this last time?
Oh my god. This book that no one's read since secondary school. Fantastic. The evening, Tok is found once again on the forward deck looking up at the stars. You hear a voice from behind you, Tok.
Enjoying the stars, Tok.
Indeed.
What is it you are trying to see, if I may ask?
I am gathering data.
What kind of data?
The movements. There are wandering stars that move across the constellations.
Are you a star chart of sorts, then?
I have received training from my creator, Tick, but it was interrupted.
So an astrologer?
Astronomer. The wording is important.
Forgive me, 3 teeth and so many vowels.
You are forgiven.
It's a very useful skill, Tok. I look forward to learning more useful skills of yours. Enjoy, and I'll leave you to your stargazing.
I will inform you when I have acquired sufficient data.
Excellent.
Bennie, can you roll a d20 for me, please?
It's 15.
The next day of travel passes without incident. Have 1 day's rations left.
Are we... I'm going to check my maps, make sure we're on course.
Yeah.
During the trip, Tok will at some point go into the galley, try and select a couple of small glass vessels, around 4 ounces each, if he can find anything like that, and take them back to his workshop.
Okay.
Are we in the hills yet, if I look outside the over the rail?
You are just approaching land, so the mountains are directly beneath you now for the first time.
Land ho, shipmates.
Vander says lazily from the poop deck.
Augustus glances at him in sort of surprise and disdain, seeing the enormous mountains that are not only in front of us, but now below us as well, thinking that Vander's maybe not the guy to be given the land ho duties next time.
I tip my hat at Augustus.
You have just cleared over Biscuit Bay. All of you are now stood on the deck with the sun beating down on you. Supplies are running low, and the edge of hunger is starting to bite down on Vander, Bennie, and Augustus as the day proceeds. Beneath you now is a beautiful mountainous landscape. Lush and verdant greenery scatters over the tall ridges of the mountains, almost entirely covering them. These are the Pythereal Mountains between Gramplona and Royaume Dion. Vander, even at this height, you spot a small clearing nearby a set of crystal blue ponds near the tip of one of the mountains.
I signal to Plex.
To your position, please, Plex.
Yes, Vander. And you see a singular eye begin to kind of zoom out like a small, not telescope, what are they called?
Lens, like a...
Yeah, like a lens.
Yeah.
And he takes his place near what appears to be an empty gunnery position.
Sterling, take us down.
Yes, Vander.
Gentlemen, I think our best option for food may lie there in that clearing. So I would prepare, if I were you, to investigate the area.
Understood. Tok, not really looking down at the mountains as much, will look over at Benny's dog and say, "Humans eat meat, do they not? Is this dog rations?"
This dog is not rations, Tok. So don't get any ideas about that.
I do not consume food for sustenance. I am glad the dog will not be consumed.
The dog will not be consumed under any circumstances.
I mean, to be based on Benny's survival role, even if the dog was cooked up and put in a bun, he probably wouldn't be able to get it in his mouth. So I think we're all right.
Tok will look over at Benny again and say, "You have achieved the 9th rank of best animals, Benny."
Oh, thanks, Tok. What have we ever taken?
Monkeys.
Monkeys.
Suck it, monkeys.
If hungry, they would consume the dog.
Vander joins the others at the rail.
More heartwarming. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, you've not made it to 9 yet, Vander. Don't get cocky.
Vander smiles.
That is correct.
Vander stops smiling.
Having seen no civilization for miles around, you take the airship down towards a small clearing. As you get closer, you start to see tiny pools of water in the crags and dips of the mountain, while around them, rich green vegetation grows to form a beautiful wilderness of life, high away from any roads or rivers. Vander, having commanded the automatons to land in the clearing, you are meters away from the ground. You start to see what appears to be scattered huts further into the foresty jungle and the thick undergrowth, obviously built to blend into the scenery and avoid being seen from the air. A number of people begin to approach the spot where you are landing. All of them appear to be wearing simple clothes, mainly dirty browns and tans. Leading the group appears to be a tall man, around 6'7", with a thick black beard and a long black-grey hair. His stiff posture is slanted slightly to the left as he leans on a long quarterstaff made of solid wood.
Seems we have found the locals.
So it does. Does anyone know what language they speak here? Can we talk to them?
Guess we'll find out shortly.
How close is the ship to...
You've got a couple of minutes before you actually touch down.
You're our meter and greeter, aren't you, Augustus?
Yes, and you're our sneaker, so I think maybe you could melt away into the background and...
I think we might be beyond sneaking in this airship, I'm afraid.
Well, they don't know you're on the airship, do they? So you could just take an inconspicuous position in case the meeting and greeting goes less well than I'm sure it will.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. I'll take an inconspicuous position, as you put it.
You guys land with a gentle thump thump.
Tok will turn over to Augustus and say, I have seen you slay creatures for food before. Can you not perform such a feat again?
I think it might be a risky strategy to do that, my dear Tok, because we are in these people's land, and given that they appear not to be rich and well fed, they might take poorly if we start hunting what they see as their game. I think we should ask them for sort of...
One cannot own the land, nor the creatures in it.
Well, at the risk of sending humans back down to 10 on your list, that is the sort of thing that humans often do think.
Augustus, only Bennie has rank 9 on the list, for he would not eat the dog.
Sorry, I thought you meant humans had climbed to 9. I thought Bennie had, as an ambassador for our race, had dragged us up to 9.
But Augustus, I have seen humans eating dogs before in Lunadyne, the capital.
Understood. Perhaps we need another 6-day air voyage to go through the methodology behind your ranking system.
Yes, I thought the world the Empire carved out was a nightmare. I see now worse fates are possible.
I'm heading out in one of my 6 sets of fine clothes.
Care to describe them?
I don't need to. They're from Batistutors.
Ah, fair enough.
Everyone knows the standard I'm talking about. Off I go, showing the palms of both hands up in front of me to show that I am not a threat, although of course they can presumably spot a fine physical specimen when they see one. And I approach them and say, my friends, we seek your help.
All eyes of the village, and there are probably 10 people or so currently gathered around the ship, look from you to the tall man with the black beard, who takes a few steps forward, heavily leaning on his quarterstaff. Welcome, strangers, to Haven. My name is Kalen, and I see the winds have brought you here, and fate has intertwined our path. How exciting.
Exciting indeed, Kalen.
How can we help you?
We have a simple request for you. We merely need some food so that we can continue to eat as we continue our journey.
And where is your journey from?
We have come from the north, and we head to the east.
The north of the Empire?
Yes, that's right.
Are you of the Empire?
We are in the Empire. Whether we are of it is a philosophical question that's rather beyond where I hoped this conversation would go.
Allow me to allay any fears. We are all outcasts from the Empire here for different reasons. We have brought them all together in this place high in the mountains away from everything and everyone else.
Wonderful, Kalen. Well, as one of my friends aboard the ship once said, fuck the Empire. And I think that, although, as I noted at the time, rather blunt description, sums up our collective feelings towards the Empire. And it sounds like yours too.
He raises an eyebrow. Well, what is it you're after?
Food to see us on our way, if you can spare it. We, of course, would expect to pay for anything we take. I can offer you a longbow from my collection, and I assure you I'm a fine huntsman, and its balance is second to none. And my friend Tok has my friend the automaton aboard has a rather fine glowing stone, which could be useful to you at night.
I see. We have no need for money here. We work on a simple bartering system. Services for goods, goods for services.
Wonderful.
Well, allow me to introduce you to our humble community, and we'll see what we can do to help. How many of you are there?
We have 3 people. I say that loudly so that it's clear to Bennie back on board that he can sort of safely shuffle out. And 5 automatons who serve us and keep the ship afloat. Keep the ship, not afloat, aloft.
Indeed, it is a rather fine airship. You'll have to tell me how you acquired it from the Empire.
Well, they left it unattended, and we found ourselves with an urgent need to depart. It seemed the safest way to do it.
I know the Empire better than most, and I'm not sure that's entirely true. But that's fine.
Augustus laughs heartily.
And he begins to lead you into the village proper.
Okay, I nod my head to tell the other guys to come along. I guess the 4 sort of service automatons can stay behind and guard the ship, can they, Vander?
They certainly can.
Maybe Tok can help Vander along, and Bennie can, in a rare case, walk in the open.
Yeah, Tok will happily give Vander a piggyback if he wants.
Vander's going to struggle along for the time being.
Ah, well met, friends. And Kalen offers his hand to Bennie, Vander, and Tok.
Tok, during his turn, will look at it rather than extend his hand out because he doesn't really know what's going on.
I'll just shake his hand in a normal way.
It is a pleasure to meet you. I'm Kalen, and you are?
Hiya, my name's Bennie. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure. Hello to you.
Vander Finnick, a pleasure to meet you.
Kalen Lux, a pleasure to meet you too. Come, let me show you the village. We have a humble community here. Over there is Alara. She is a skilled herbalist who tends to the healing of our people. Next to her is Gorath, the village blacksmith, whose hands shape the sturdy tools which aid us in our endeavours. He then points over to the kind of azure blue pools that you saw from the sky. These are the shimmering pools. You'll notice that there are fishermen in there, Felix and Isabella. They harvest the bounty of the mountain waters, which provide us with sustenance, and perhaps you too. And there is a group of children you'll see there off in the forest. They are the future, full of energy and mischief.
You mentioned a potential trade. Skills for resources?
Yes, that's right. The people around here need some help, I would imagine.
And what kind of help could we be of if, for example, we wanted some of those lovely fish?
I possess skills with smith and herbalist tools.
Then you'll be very handy around here.
But not spear.
Unless it's safekeeping.
I am new to the way of the spear.
You're doing very well, Tok.
I'm sorry, Tok. That was unnecessary. Yeah, I'll take it back.
It'll all completely bounce off Tok's, like, just not utterly...
Much like the edge of his spear.
Tok's practicing his spear, and he's going to be grand. I need to keep that 9 spot.
If it is food you're after, then I shall draw the other villagers in, and they can ask you themselves for what they need your help with.
That very good. Yes, we'll wait here.
So he begins gathering around the people that he's already introduced you to, as well as a few others, and he forms them in an orderly queue. Who are they going to be talking to?
Well, probably not Augustus, unless they want a recitation of Denothelian poetry.
I will happily... I'll put Vander's happy to take questions.
Augustus' servant, yeah, that's fine. handles business and trade.
I'm the goddamn pirate captain.
So the first to approach is a enormous humanoid figure, kind of grey skin with black tattoos and a bald head. He actually towers over Tok as he approaches, and he offers you his hand, which is about twice the size of a normal human's hand. Hello, my name's Gregor.
A pleasure to meet you, Gregor.
Vander very delicately takes his hand.
Oh, I won't break your hand, sorry.
That's quite all right, Gregor. How can we help?
Oh, I'm the blacksmith. I've injured my shoulder, but I need some copper ore out of the mountain. I reckon some of you could go fetch me some copper, and I'll be able to trade you some of the things that I make, if you like.
Thank you, Gregor. We'll certainly consider it. I see you have other villagers there. We should hear from them also before we commit ourselves.
Okay. Come on, Lanny. And for the first time you notice that there is a small goblin who's been hiding behind Gregor's leg, who kind of skitters up onto his shoulder. Yeah, all right, Gregor, let's go. Next up is a red-skinned woman with kind of curled horns on the top of her head and long red hair with pale white eyes. Hello there. I'm Isabella.
My name is Vander. A pleasure to meet you, Isabella.
Do you know anything about fishing?
I have some friends who might.
We could do with some help doing some fishing. We need to catch some prawns. They're in those shimmering pools over there. But our mesh nets are a bit broken, and Gregor's a little bit ham-fisted when it comes to fixing things. So do you reckon you might be able to help fix our nets?
I'm sure we could think of something to help.
Oh, if you can, I'd be willing to give you half of what we catch. Good food. It's tasty.
Very generous. We will certainly consider that.
All right. My name's Cato.
Pleasure to meet you, Cato. Vander Finnick at your service.
And you see a kind of broad-shouldered human, probably in his mid-30s, in very good shape. I need help putting up a new hut. It'll take some strength and coordination. If you can help, I'll happily give you some of my dried pipe leaf.
Dried pipe leaf, you say?
Yeah, for smoking.
Very interesting. Allow me to speak very quickly with my friends.
All right. If it'll sweeten the deal for you, I can get you access to the bathhouse.
There's a bathhouse here. Again, very interesting. Okay.
It's good. Gets into your pores, all the steamy air. And they put in different kind of smells as well. It's lovely.
That's pretty good offer for Vander. I'm going to turn back then and speak with the group.
Gentlemen, a few options there. I suggest we definitely take the one related to food for obvious reasons.
Yeah, agreed. Don't know who's in the best position to fix the nets. Tok, is that would that be one of your skills? I know you're a bit of a tinkerer, a bit of a fixer.
I would be capable of fixing nets. Yes.
Seems like the one for me.
And the copper mines, any takers?
What were they offering us for copper mine work?
Get them copper in exchange for materials from the blacksmith.
I would be interested in metalworking.
Then we wouldn't have anyone for the nets, which is unfortunately quite important.
He wishes for copper, not for assistance.
Do you have copper?
Not in sufficient quantities. I suspect a copper mine.
Yes, but if you're at the copper mine, presumably you're not mending nets.
Indeed. For one cannot be in two places at once, Vander.
Very true, and an excellent point. Humanoids need food, you see, Tok, and without the nets we may die. So, if it's all the same to you, and for the sake of your shipmates, would you mind mending the nets?
I would not mind, though there are 4 of us.
Well, none of the tasks, I'm afraid, appeared to suit someone of my disposition.
Vander gestures at his broken and battered body.
You could help build a hut for Cato.
I could certainly read the instruction.
You could help fish for Isabella.
I could certainly sit in a boat.
You have telekinesis, do you not?
That's a long and complicated word with an even more complicated explanation.
You could help the blacksmith Gregor at retrieving copper, Vander.
I feel like we may not be understanding each other, my friend.
Vander, you are small and broken, but you have a mind. A mind is necessary for all 3 tasks.
That's true. But I imagine the tasks will also require some fitness of body, where unfortunately for me, I am rather lacking.
Perhaps I can be of some assistance in this
Oh.
quagmire of a conversation.
Thank all of the deities known from here to the Empire.
I'm not an especially dexterous person, so mending the net may not be my forte, but I am reasonably strong, so I could go and collect at least a little copper ore. However, I suggest that some of us need to stay back on the airship, because we don't know these people, and although they tell us they're enemies of the Empire, we can't take that as completely read. So perhaps, Vander, if you, and I'm speaking quietly here, perhaps, Vander, if you tell them that you need to rest because of your fragile physical condition, and that Bennie will go with you as your assistant, then Tok and I can do some of these jobs, try and get some food, maybe a few things from the blacksmith, and then we'll head back to the ship.
An excellent plan. Turns to the villagers and says, I need to rest.
And then starts hobbling in the direction of the ship.
Maybe it's better to have 2 of us at the mine, though. Do you want me to come with you, Augustus?
So yeah, Bennie and I will go and do what we can with the copper ore then, because it sounds like the net mending is the most important, and Tok's our best guy for that.
Also, the fisher Isabella wanted help mending the nets, but also help fishing, which Tok is probably not going to be very good at.
In that case, we'll nominate Bennie, shall we, as our fisherman, because he's quite nimble, quite good at hunting stuff, I guess. The fish won't know he's there because he's so stealthy.
Dexterous and stealthy.
It really is fascinating listening to you all.
Who's speaking?
You turn to see a positively ancient-looking elf with completely milky white eyes and very thin white hair. He appears to have 2 bows, one over each shoulder, although he walks with a stoop, almost as bad as Vander's. And he has a small bird perched on his shoulder. So, you're the new people, are you? Hello.
Hello.
Hiya.
So which one of you's a telekinetic?
I turn back.
I'm afraid you've lost me there.
You're lying. I respect that. So you're the one with the telekinesis. What's your name?
Vander Finnick. Yours?
I'm Lorien. Pleasure to meet you.
And you too, Lorien.
And Augustus says, a pleasure to meet you in Elvish, because Augustus can do that.
Oh, highly trained. You've obviously gone to a very good university.
Is he saying that in Elvish or in human?
Elvish.
Then Tok will also speak in Elvish and say, what is a university?
Oh, you've trained your automaton as well. A university is a place of learning. It's like a school, but for rich, older people with nothing better to do.
I say, well, isn't this fun, but in Gnomish?
Tok will speak back in Gnomish and say, you have not found conversation fun before, Bennie.
And hang on, Augustus is going to reply in Gnomish and say,
wonderful.
Well, sometimes Bennie can be a little obtuse, but we'll allow him this extravagance.
Oh, so we've switched to Gnomish, have we? He says, also in Gnomish.
Oh, you're following this, Vander?
I'm going back to Common.
Tok will say in Gnomish, he'll say, it is the language of the builders.
Yeah, I suppose.
I apologise. I was trying to do a little joke. We'll go back. Let's go back to Common. Then we all know where we are.
As you wish. It is, it's very nice to meet you all. You seem quite lovely and very clearly not agents of the Empire.
Well, definitely the latter of those two things is true.
The Empire must fall.
Indeed they must. I have seen entire kingdoms rise and fall during my lifetime, and this Kalian Empire is no different.
How long have you been around then, if you don't mind my asking?
No, you stop counting after 1,000.
Well, you would, wouldn't you? Can't fit enough candles on the cake and all that. No point keeping track.
And he turns to his bird. Cheap, go and get me some food, would you? And the bird just flies off his shoulder into the forest.
Got him well trained.
Yes, he's my eyes.
What sort of bird's that?
Well, it's a long-lasting bird. I've had him with me for many years.
Very nice.
Query. Lorien, what function do you serve in this settlement?
They call me the Elder. Wisdom is what I offer.
And what wisdom do you have for us, Lorien? I'm actually checking out. Is Lorien blind?
Vander frantically waving a hand in front of Lorien's face.
Just lighting a lighter directly in his eyes. Please stop that. Did you work quite well as a team when you're not bickering? I can tell this. You're obviously talented in your own ways, and you're obviously a bit lost. But that's okay. That can all be solved quite easily.
What brings you here, Lorien, and what about the eclectic mix of individuals who make up this community?
We called it Haven because it is a sanctuary and a haven for those who are fleeing the persecution of the Empire. You'll notice that everyone here is not what you would call normal, but they have every right to live. The Empire disagrees. And so here we are, in the mountains, far away from civilization. Safe.
Very wise.
That's why they call me the Elder. Anyway, it sounds like you have jobs to do. I think they're all good things. And when you're finished with them, come see me again. I might be able to help you out with whatever it is that your heart desires. How's that for enigmatic? And he turns around as the bird flies back onto his shoulder and drops what appears to be a kind of collection of worms into his open hand. And he just scoffs them down and heads into a hut.
You see he's going to enjoy having dinner with Vander.
Vander looks at the other members of the group. Oh, disgusting. And then turns back on his way.
Okay, let's hit our jobs then, shall we?
Yeah, Tok will go fix some nets.
Cool. So we'll start with that. Give me use your Tinker's tools.
Okay, and he will, of course, guide himself with his memory of knots. That will be a 27. Tok is good at making stuff.
With Felix and Isabella watching on, Tok very quickly begins to re-net and fix up the netting for them. Oh, these are fantastic. Thank you very much. Are you going to help us fish now?
I am unacquainted with the capture of living beings.
I think I've been put in charge of that aspect of the work.
Oh, have you been fishing before?
I have not been fishing before, but I've got a sharp eye and dexterous hands, so we figured it's worth a try.
Okay, well, we're about an hour from dusk, and dusk is the best time to catch them. The best thing would be to try and shine a light in their general direction, and then they get scared, and then you can scoop them with the net.
Okay, I'll give that a crack.
If Tok isn't going to be particularly useful at this, he's going to head over to the Whispering Grove.
Vander, what are you doing?
I am reclining on my ship.
Reclining nefariously.
Let's skip forward an hour and get you some fishing.
Do some fishing.
You can give me a survival or nature check.
13.
Okay. Yep. So following their instructions, you get a lit torch just at dusk. You kind of flash it over the top of the shimmering pools. Shimmering pools emit quite a lot of warmth, and you can't help but dip your hands into it, and it is very warm and a little bit salty. When you flash the torch down, you see the kind of gleaming bioluminescent reflections of various shrimps, prawns in there, and quick as you like, you swoop down and you manage to catch an entire net's full. Oh, you're a natural. Good job.
It's all right, this, isn't it, this fishing? Hey, am I right to have a little paddle? These pools are lovely and warm.
Yeah, of course. Although, if that's what you're after, the bathhouse really would be better for you.
Am I right just to use the bathhouse? Is there any guidelines around in and out?
No, you've just help us catch dinner. So we'll show you over to the bathhouse.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say no then. Thank you very much.
Oh, follow us. And they net up a load of the shrimps and prawns, take them to the communal area, and then take you down to the bathhouse. Augustus?
I think Tok and I were going to go off and try and find some copper ore for the blacksmith.
Tok has head off to the Whispering Grove.
He was assuming that we weren't going to go prospecting around the mountains at night time.
Sounds reasonable. In which case, from where I am, what makes sense? Go to the Whispering Grove or go back to the ship with Vander?
Up to you. What would Augustus more likely do?
He would probably go back to the ship.
Not to the bathhouse.
Well, maybe if it looks relatively nice. I mean, Augustus doesn't. I don't think would slum it. But I guess if the facilities are better than are on the ship, then he'd probably do with a good wash.
I don't think there are facilities on the ship. I think you've probably had quite a few days without any kind of wash at all, right? Or an airship. It's not like you can just dip into the bar.
Augustus produces a fluffy and soft white towel and a pair of flip-flops and heads off to the bathhouse.
Oh my god, of course he does.
I mean, Tok doesn't have a sense of disgust in the way that humans do, but obviously, I think that you're probably all smelling quite ripe at the moment.
So Augustus and Bennie, you head to the bathhouse at roughly the same time, led there by Isabella. And as she pushes the wooden door open, she says, "This is the bathhouse. It offers a place of relaxation and rejuvenation." You're immediately hit with aromatic steam rising up from the kind of... It's been carved into the stonework beneath, and there's multiple layers that you can sit on, and in the center is a bubbling pool, out of which is coming this delicious aromatic smell. And this is where we gather and we shed our worries and daily burdens. Would you like to try the warm waters?
I would love to try the warm waters. This is very nice.
If you want to fold your clothes and put them on the side there, and then you can get in.
All right. Cheers.
And she leaves you to it.
Put my clothes on the side and pop in the warm waters. Actually, I'd pick up my clothes from the side and give them a bit of a rinse in the warm waters as well, surreptitiously.
Absolutely disgusting.
Augustus very reluctantly also gets in the warm waters. He doesn't quite know how he's ended up here with Bennie, and he's a bit worried the dog's about to join us as well.
Where is the dog?
The dog's on the airship.
Okay. So the two of you, completely naked, get into the warm, bubbling waters and immediately feel the kind of stress and anxiety and dirt wash off of you almost instantly. It's incredibly pleasant. It's incredibly steamy, so you can barely see anything.
Oh, I can get used to this. Do poshies get this kind of thing on a regular basis then, Augustus, or is this new for you as well?
No, it's almost relentlessly in my life.
Oh, we all have our burdens, don't we?
Absolutely. My skin is so soft, it's outrageous.
Well, yes, as I say, it's a tough world, but you seem to be finding your way through it all right, so I congratulate you.
Oh, thank you. You're alive too.
I am. And now perhaps some peace and quiet, I'm sure we'd both relish that.
Having struck up a conversation, Bennie shuts it down. The unbearable Augustus. Fair enough.
Tok will come to you in a second. Vander, you are sat on the airship, and Kalen begins to walk up the ramp. You hear the kind of thud, thud, thud of his quarterstaff as he makes his way onto the poop deck.
Yes, where he finds me in my usual deck chair.
Hello, Vander.
Kalian, thank you for joining me.
Pleasure.
You know who I am, or should I say, what I am?
Of course. Don't you owe me money?
It's an interesting place to take the conversation.
He laughs. He laughs heartily and goes in to hug you. It has been a long time, my friend.
Too long. How did you survive?
It was not easy. I fled from Roanoke and I head southwest until I got to here. On the way I met all these various people, including Lorien. Have you met him?
Briefly. He seems to see who I am also, possibly because he knows you.
Entirely because he knows me. He's blind and old, but he is wise, and he has a way of drawing people in.
So this is your life now?
This is it. I have exchanged the blade for the hoe.
I have exchanged the blade for the walking stick, courtesy of the Empire.
What happened?
As you may remember, I was not so lucky in my flight and was captured. I believe I'm accurate in saying I may be the most tortured man to be walking the earth.
You certainly look it.
That's not to say I'm entirely defenseless, as you know.
Oh.
This Lorien, I should speak with him?
Your people seem to be doing good work and ingratiating themselves with my people, which can only be a good thing. When they are finished, it is worth talking with Lorien.
Do me a favor, old friend. I wish you the best in your life here. It might be better for my friends not to know of my past just yet.
I made that leap when I heard your name. Your secret is safe. I like the name, though. It's good.
It suits me well now, in my new life.
Can I convince you to stay?
That is tempting, but I'm afraid I'm not sure this place is quite my speed.
I thought that was true of myself. But now that I'm here, it is peaceful.
I'll think upon it. Thank you for the offer, old friend.
It is truly good to see you again.
And a pleasure to meet one of the few surviving Rogans.
He nods and heads off the ship. Tok, you are entering the Whispering Grove.
Yeah, it looked like some nice trees. Tok quite likes trees. They rank even above dogs.
The Whispering Grove is a mystical and enchanting corner of Haven where ancient trees stand tall and whisper secrets carried on the breeze. The fading sunlight filters through the dense canopy, casting a gentle glow upon the lush undergrowth. You feel a sense of profound serenity when you enter. And actually, once inside, having walked around and investigated the various trees and flora and fauna, you see what appears to be a small stone hut at the back.
Tok will go and investigate that as well, I guess.
You follow what appears to be a relatively steep path surrounded on all sides by these beautiful trees. And once you're kind of out of certainly of the area that you can see on the map, you get to the back of this stone, what is effectively a temple, and there is a cliff edge on the other side of it. The doors are open, and you enter in to find a woman dressed in a white hood. You can't see her face.
Greetings. You are the keeper of this place. It is wonderful.
I'm glad you like it. You're an automaton, are you not?
I am.
And what brings you to the Temple of Many Gods?
The trees.
You like trees?
I do. Trees, plants, the flora and fauna.
You appear to have something more happening behind your eyes. You're not a mindless slave like the other automatons.
You are correct. I have a mind.
And what do you use the mind for?
Many things.
Are any of the things perhaps the worship of a god?
I do not understand the term God, nor the term worship. I have spent my time in the wilds of nature. I have not encountered such things. They are human terms?
They are. Worshipping is to prostrate yourself in front of a higher power, a sentient being that you cannot see, but who is pulling the strings behind the scenes.
Such beings exist?
They do.
They require prostrating?
In some instances.
Can such beings be encountered?
Only if you're very lucky and very, very unique.
Doc will sort of go silent for a bit and say, I may be unique.
I think so too. But the important thing is to find out which god may be watching you. Or how many. There may be many.
How many? gods are there?
Too many to count.
Like the stars.
The stars are named after the gods in many instances.
Tok will point at some of the stars and say, the stars' names are known to me, but the gods are not. And he'll point up and say, the stars, Karas and Selak, they are wandering stars. Are they gods?
They are indeed. They are the goddesses of fortune and misfortune.
He'll point to some other stars and say, there are other wandering stars. Malek, Tyr, Zarul, Verevalun, Shovan. Are these gods as well?
They are. Of tyranny, courage, self-sacrifice, truth, illusion. All the gods have a purpose.
This is a great knowledge off with the DM.
It's funny you should mention Tyr. Are you travelling with one who is holy, one who worships? I'm guessing not, seeing as you did not understand the premise.
I lack sufficient data.
I see. Well, was there anything else you wanted to know?
What god do you worship?
Well, I worship Cassandra.
That is not a star that is known to me.
She is the goddess of divination and fate. I can see things that have yet to pass.
This ability is confirmed.
It is not as simple as that when it comes to the gods.
Can you tell me my future?
I'd certainly try.
I lack sufficient data.
She looks deep into your eyes. I think your future will be bright, like a blazing wandering star across the night sky. Bright, but potentially short.
You refer to a comet.
Like a comet, a teardrop from the gods.
Tok will go quiet for a bit, I think. And then maybe if she's probably leave after that. And he'll probably spend the night in the Whispering Grove looking at the stars.
Augustus and Bennie, you have been soaking in the bathhouse for a few hours. For the first time, Bennie, in your life, your skin looks wrinkled like a prune. Augustus, you're used to this sort of comfort and decadence.
Looking around for a waitress.
Well, Kaelin enters. Hello, my friends. We're about to sit down for dinner. Would you like to join us?
Yes, please.
That'd be lovely. Thanks, Kaelin. Loving this bathhouse you got. It's tremendous here, isn't it?
The small delights of life.
Well, very good of you to let us use it, so thank you.
We are friends, after all.
Aye.
And he leaves you to it and kind of tells you when you're ready to head towards the communal hall. You enter to the smell of incredible herbs and spices in the air, and there's a huge cauldron that appears to be filled with like a kind of thick soup with, you can see bits of prawn in it and various bits of vegetables, and it's being served up with a ladle into bowls, and everyone's just eating with wooden spoons.
It's weird this, isn't it, Augustus? It's soup, but I'm not upset by it at all. It's brilliant.
We'll wait till Vander gets here.
Where is Vander? Is he coming or is he stopping on airship?
Yeah, let's not tell him about dinner.
Yeah, I don't think we need to bring it up.
Vander enters. Who are you guys?
Hey, so you've been working hard, I see.
Oh, very kind.
He looks at Augustus and Bennie in particular.
It's worked out pretty well for us, actually, to be honest, Lorien. About 10 minutes of hard work and about 2 hours in bash. It was a perfect ratio, got to tell you.
Now, I must say you did need it, if you don't mind me saying so.
I do not mind you saying so.
So what do you think of Haven, now that you've spent a few hours here?
No, it's lovely, isn't it? Yeah. Lovely bit of fishing, shimmering pools, and nice relax in the bathhouse, which was very pleasant. Never experienced anything like that. Like, you don't get that kind of thing up in Middleton, where I'm from. I'll tell you that. Yeah, very nice, very nice.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, and you're enjoying the soup, I take it.
It is the best soup that I have come across for many a day. I can tell you that.
Now, it's all thanks to Rosalind. Rosalind, why don't you come over and introduce yourself? What walks towards you can only be described as a 5'8" tortoise, but on 2 legs. And it shuffles towards you. You like the soup?
Very, very, very much, Rosalind. Very much. Absolutely delicious. My compliments to you.
Oh, I'm delighted. Welcome to Haven.
Thank you very much.
She shuffles off. First time seeing a turtle?
Yeah, it's a new one on me, I've got to admit.
She's very tough, but she's very sweet.
And she makes a fine soup.
That she does. Well, seeing as you've already worked your way into the hearts and minds of the people of Haven, and I liked you from the beginning, I was wondering if you might do me a favour.
I mean, if we can, I don't see why we wouldn't.
Well, you see, the last few nights I've been woken to the sound of a creature crawling through the jungly forest, and it's been stealing items from Haven for weeks. I think one of the children even heard it roar. There's a nearby cave where I think it currently is. As new members of Haven, I wondered if you might consider investigating the cave and killing the creature for us.
I mean, that sounds like the kind of thing that's pretty much up our alleys. Hey, Tok. No, Tok's not here, is he? Hey, Augustus.
Yes. Does sound like a job that is up your alley.
You could cut a fine swathe or whatever it is you call it when you're killing it. You'd enjoy that.
Okay, apparently this is happening. So let's bow to inevitability.
Well, I feel like we've had some lovely hospitality here. I feel like it's the least we can do is to repay it a little bit.
Absolutely. As the old saying goes, someone gives you a bowl of soup, you attack a mysterious cave-dwelling creature in the middle of the night on their behalf.
It should be at the night that you attack, because it's quite mobile during the day. I think it sleeps at night.
And do you have any idea what this creature actually is?
Well, I've got some theories, but we're not really sure. We think maybe a big cat of some kind.
Oh, well, it turns out we're dog people, so that's fine.
Fine, yeah, I won't ask any more questions about this. Bennie seems perfectly happy, so I will hover on his shoulder and get ready to attack the night bear.
I can give you one of my bows as thanks.
Wonderful, yes, please. What kind of bow is it?
And he pulls a bow off of his shoulder and kind of whips it around. The speed at which he manages to control this item despite being blind and old and bent over is quite incredible. And he holds it out in front of him, and you see an incredibly ornately designed wood-carved short bow. It's very good. It served me very well over the centuries.
You a short bow man or a long bow man, Augustus?
More a fine bow man, and this looks like a fine bow.
Thought you didn't hold with shooting at things.
Well, I'm happy to hunt if I need to. Keep you lot alive. Don't beard slightly out of character there.
Yeah, when's that been a priority for?
Insults first, character second.
Well, if you're concerned it'll be a burden, I would happily take on the finely carved short bow.
If you're looking for more weapons, then Gregor can certainly help you out. He's not just a blacksmith, he's also a woodcutter and an excellent wood carver. I'm sure we could come up with items for each of you.
Wonderful. Well, let's take this bow you've kindly offered us, and we'll agree, Bennie, shall we, to pull this and share any spoils we may have when the time comes.
Sounds good. Yeah. We can creep up on creature, see what it is, see if your morals allow you to shoot it with a bow or not, and then take it from there.
Exactly. Well, creeping up on things does appear to be your strong suit. So I'll wear this suit and you can do that.
All right, then. Do you reckon we should pick up Tok on the way?
Yes, he's useless with his spear, but he's quite large, so he's probably the most obvious target.
The outrageous shade being thrown at Tok right here.
He's not there to hear it.
And on that bombshell, I think that's a good place to end it. So we can pick up next time with you guys facing down the creature in the forest.
Fighting the man-bear pig.
You've been listening to Dice Company's Small Embers, starring Dave Windust as Bennie Quez, Alex Morrison as Augustus Zeno, Charlie Blackadder as Vander Finnick, and Harry King as Tok, with Tom Patrick as your dungeon master.
Doobadoo-boo, doobadoo, doobadoo-boo, doobadoo.
Just giving yourself more editing right there, DM.
Holy shit, that intro music is amazing.
Thank you. I call it human music.
Thanks for listening. please consider supporting Dice Company on Patreon, where for the price of a cup of coffee you get access to a whole other show, Extra Roll, as well as an ad-free listening experience. The Dice Company Discord server, along with our socials, can be found on our Linktree in the show notes. If you enjoyed this chapter, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to recommend us to your friends. If you didn't like it, recommend us to your enemies. And we'll see you next time on Dice Company.